XRP Relief Rally underway, and more importantly, peace and de-escalation in the Middle East. We got a breaking news update from President Trump. XRP in the markets moving back up. My XRP long doing pretty dang nice right now. Let's get you a quick update. I appreciate you for stopping by. Starting off here, Kobesi letter sharing that Trump just put it out. Congratulations, world. It's time for peace. Now, it's being reported that Iran actually coordinated the attacks this morning on the American airbase in Qatar with Qatari officials and gave advance notice that attacks were coming to minimize casualties, according to 3 Iranian officials familiar with the plans. The officials said that Iran symbolically needed to strike back at the United States, but at the same time, carry it out in a way that allowed all sides an exit ramp. It's just like the pump and dumpers that need some exit liquidity, right? Iran and the United States are seeking to get out of this, de-escalate the situation. We want peace. President Trump wants to wrap this up, not get engaged in any sort of Middle East war like we've done in the past. This was a direct strike, allowing Iran to respond symbolically. All the world's a stage. And now we wrap this thing up and we start to pump. President Trump says Iran has officially responded to our obliteration of their nuclear facilities with a very weak response, which we expected and have very effectively countered. There have been 14 missiles fired, 13 were knocked down, and 1 was set free because it was headed into a non-threatening direction. I am pleased to report that no Americans were harmed and hardly any damage was done. Most importantly, they've gotten it all out of their system, and there will hopefully be no further hate. I want to thank Iran for giving us early notice, which made it possible for no lives to be lost and nobody to be injured. Perhaps Iran can now proceed to peace and harmony in the region, and I will enthusiastically encourage Israel to do the same. And are we going to get that, right? That's the big question. Israel, are they going to accept this, or are they still looking to get that regime change? And President Trump has me rolling. He's been finishing off these tweets with, "Thank you for your attention to this matter." I like that closing. That's a nice one. Okay, so we're watching this, and it's been very interesting to watch because all of these supporters of Iran and many countries and groups that had come out to support Iran, they have not been showing up. They've been silent. And now that Iran actually responded, we got all these countries that are actually coming out and condemning Iran for what they did. Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Egypt, Morocco, Jordan, Lebanon, Turkey, the Palestinian Authority, and even the internationally recognized Republic of Yemen have all condemned Iran's missile strike on the U.S. base in Qatar. So basically no support from, I mean, obviously some of these countries, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, these are big U.S. Western allies. But, you know, Turkey, Yemen, the Authority of Palestine coming out here and not really showing up to defend Iran. It's like Iran just got isolated during this situation, completely cut off, and a surgical strike completed by the United States. We allow them to symbolically respond. Nobody gets hurt. And now our markets are off to the races, except for oil, which is actually coming down sharply here today. Check this one out, folks. Oil up at $77 last week, already down 13% to $67 per barrel today. As I record this update, we are below 70, now at $67 per barrel, down over 10% in one day. Massive volatility. We knew it was going to come in this week, and this is the volatility we wanted to see. We were praying for peace while we positioned our portfolio, and now this market is absolutely sending. Let's take a look here at Bitcoin and XRP. Bitcoin back up to 103,600. That's a very strong bounce for Bitcoin. Nice little 5% pump. Very good. And we're going to continue to watch this market rally as folks are seeing the de-escalation happening. 9% move for XRP all the way up to 208. And in fact, we did run this one all the way up to about 210. Okay? So all the way up to about 210. We'll continue to watch XRP here. Back testing here over the weekend. We saw what took place with it going down to $1.90. And this is when I came in and I doubled down on my XRP long, right? So I was in my XRP long at $2.03, but then we had to double down when it dipped below $2. And that is the move. Sorry, I was just adjusting my chart here. Back to the XRP chart. Right down here, it went down to about $1.90. And I had my order sitting at $1.94. So my XRP long in pretty good profit right now. And a reminder that we actually moved in and shorted Bitcoin last week. So we warned about the pullback coming, put our money where our mouth was, shorted Bitcoin up at 107. And we watched this thing go all the way down here to 99,000, 98.2 actually was the low that came in on Bitcoin. So the Bitcoin short, that was perfectly played. I actually exited it a little bit too soon, but that's okay. We were in the right direction. Got my liquidity ready, and then that's when we hit that XRP long perfectly, already bouncing and moving back with strength. The Fed says it's scrapping reputational risk as a factor in how it supervises banks, the scoop from Eleanor Terrett. In a memo released today, the central bank says it will remove the term, which lawmakers credit with playing as a major role in the debanking of crypto firms and other businesses, from exam manuals and trained examiners to focus on specific financial risks instead. Fed is the last of the major banking regulators to get rid of them. So the Fed, just like President Trump calls Powell too late Powell, the Fed as one of the few banking regulators that we have as well, the last to move on scrapping reputational risk as a factor in how it supervises banks. Any banks basically that dealt with crypto, they were labeling you as having reputational risk. That's no longer the case. You're seeing the guidance shift at the SEC, the guidance shift at the Fed, the guidance shift with the CFTC, which has actually been pretty consistent, but they're just doubling down on their posture that they should have more control of these digital assets, which in and of themselves are mostly commodities in most cases. And so, all of our regulators as a whole, right, in conclusion, they're flipping the switch. The green light is on. And now we watch the XRP ecosystem absolutely boom. We're looking at PureSys technology, Testnet for the XRP Ledger EVM chain. And this one, they're saying, might be the most successful testnet ever. Whether this is legit projects or bots, we had the opportunity to test the chain with extreme activity. And that's what you want. You want to put it to the test before we take it live. Almost 4 million smart contracts in 2 million blocks. 50,000 tokens and 10 million transactions, which is very helpful ahead of mainnet launch. So this EVM sidechain, what it does is it pulls the EVM smart contract functionality without having to take all of Ethereum and all of the smart contracts there. But they created this secondary chain, this side chain. They're finishing the testnet phase of it, ready to know, and they put it to the test. I mean, real stress test here. 4 million smart contracts and 2 million blocks, 50,000 coins and 10 million transactions. It's a pretty good stress test. Preparing it to go live. And what happens here is that XRP gets used as a gas token on this XRP Ledger EVM sidechain. This will have full EVM programmability while using XRP for liquidity. It's a match made in heaven. All the programmability that you actually want from Ethereum, which is just the EVM, and then you leave that crappy network all by itself to play around in Ethereum. Earlier today, it was down 6% since the election. I'm sure it's bounced up a little bit, but basically hasn't done anything since the election and just lagging terribly. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but what we did is we pulled the EVM compatibility, brought it to our sidechain. XRP is a gas token, and this is getting ready to go live. So this just adds, and I've been describing this as the hub and spoke model, where the XRP ledger is the main hub and the main source of liquidity. And then all of the spokes are all of the various smart contract platforms that are being built around the XRP ledger. Think of Flare, Corium, Zahao, right? All of these XRP ledger EVM sidechain, all of these. Axelar creating the bridge to 60 plus other chains. All of this interoperability, composability, all of this is adding more functions, and it will allow for our DeFi ecosystem to finally not just arrive, but thrive and explode. Like XRP DeFi is going to be exploding this year. And I still don't think that most people understand that. Even if you aren't going to participate in the DeFi, and I encourage you to conduct due diligence before you give anybody your XRP. I've been hounding and warning about that one. Before we give up the keys to the castle, let's make sure we understand who we're dealing with. But XRP DeFi is absolutely about to explode. Even if you don't participate, it's going to increase the price of XRP. So you should be pretty excited about that. Along with the fact that Arthur Bridto showed up this week. That's right. Arthur Bridto put out a tweet this morning, a little emoji. This is an account that hasn't been active in years. And out of nowhere, and for those of you guys who don't know, Arthur Bridto, he's one of the 3 creators of the XRP ledger. It was David Schwartz, Jed McCaleb, who left to go create Stellar, and then it was Arthur Bridto. Now, the only person that's more sneaky than Jed McCaleb and Stellar would be Arthur Bridto, who's like completely anonymous. There's like 1 or 2 pictures online of this guy. He's a ghost, and he's one of the 3 creators of the XRP ledger. And this morning, out of nowhere, he puts out a little tweet. What does he know? Does he know that Judge Torres is about to agree to that SEC versus Ripple settlement this week? Does he know that some ETFs are about to go live in the United States and we're about to see 10 to 20 billion of inflows XRP ETFs year 1? Does he know that XRP is about to be going to a much, much higher price? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments down below what this means. But of course, David Schwartz took this opportunity to chime in. David says, I can confirm this was not a hack or compromise, unless, of course, I was hacked too. How deep does this conspiracy go? The Riddlers are going to be going crazy with that one. But hey, I just wanted to throw in that's pretty funny that Arthur showed up here today. You guys let me know if you make anything of that. The Riddlers will tell us what it means. They'll decode it for us. But in the meantime, we're perfectly positioned. We were praying for peace, and thank God. Hopefully this does not escalate any further. Praying for peace, position our portfolio, and now we profit. And now we profit handsomely too. Going to be a good time. Stay locked in. It's going to be a big week. We'll be back live tomorrow every Tuesday, Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you guys show up for that. Subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. And everything is available at zachrector.com, all of our community resources. We got quick links down below and access to the private community there through Patreon to get access to Discord, okay? Thank you very much. I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.